Hi, my name's Jolene. I'm the town manager here in Upton. I'd like to take a few minutes to go through the special town meeting warrant. Special town meeting is going to be happening on Tuesday, November 12th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium of Nipmuc High School. This is the second time we all get together around the year to do business of the town, approving various zoning articles, approving budgets, special requests, as you'll see as we go through the warrant. So just a very quick list of articles. We have some articles dealing with prior year bills, amending the FY25 budget to deal with collective bargaining agreements, amending the FY25 operating budget to deal with implementing a compensation classification plan. We have funding requests for streetlight conversions, a radio system, infrastructure upgrades with police, funding of a drone, doing some repairs to one of our vehicles, and then also doing some repairs at the fire station. We also are seeking funding for reconfiguring the town hall parking lot, funding a community message board, funding an operation maintenance plan for the wastewater treatment facilities, as well as funding design for Milford Street extension of water and wastewater. We're looking for some funding to retain landscape architect to assist with design services for the Route 140 Main Street TIP project, and also for funding a composting program. We're looking for town meeting to approve the acceptance of a donation from Harvey J. Trask Trust, as well as discontinue a portion of Starrett Street and conveyance of easements at Crockett Road for utility purposes. We're also looking for town meeting to consider change in cemetery commission membership from elected to appointed, and also changes to the Town Manager Act, which then would require petition to the General Court, i.e. the legislature. The Community Preservation Committee is looking at changing its membership, and there's also an article to approve the use of electronic tabulators, electronic voting at town meeting, as well as fund acquiring those electronic tabulators. And then we have 4 zoning articles. I should note that one of these is going to be withdrawn by the planning board. So coming into Article 1, it's a rather small article that we're looking at doing. We have prior year bill for $50 with T-Mobile and $79.82 to Verizon. These are things that come from prior years and we can't pay out of the current budget, so we're looking for town meeting to approve that. Article 2 is seeking various funds to pay for a recent collective bargaining agreement between the town and the town DPW unions. So basically, we're looking at raising appropriating $44,331. We're going to transfer from existing funds in the personnel wages line of $20,000, and transfer from water retained earnings $16,395, and $15,584 for wastewater retained earnings. The town had been working with the union to come up with a new 3-year contract. This was signed earlier in the summer, and it requires town meeting approval to fund that union contract. The next Article 3 is to implement the recently completed compensation and classification plan. What this did is looked across not only at town positions, evaluated what various positions did, but did a analysis and survey of similar towns and neighboring towns to Upton in order to identify whether or not we were paying positions similar to what the marketplace has. So we've made some slight adjustments to the compensation plan, and we have that before town meeting to approve. The total amount for funding that request is $45,432, and that would be through raise and appropriate. Article 4 seeks $3,796.03 to fund the town's match for converting the streetlights to LED. Currently, the town does not own them. We received a $126,402 grant to purchase the lights and to convert those street lights. And we have a small $3,000, almost $3,800 match as part of that project. This will allow the town to save approximately $16,210 annually. I'm now joined by Peter McGowan, who's our interim police chief, who's going to speak to Article 5 and 7. So Peter, if you can just give us an overview of these two articles.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Public safety radio upgrade. Article 5 basically is an upgrade to our infrastructure for the public safety radio system. With this project, there was a total of $554,027. It's going to include 2 new locations for our repeaters, replacing 2 current repeaters, and then adding other related options to the system, including microwave communication between the 4 stations. Chief Bradley, before he left, was able to obtain a grant from the State 911 Department for $439,000, and the total left town's portion is $114,582, just about 20% of the total cost.
So it's great effort by our former police chief to secure those funds. That's a significant infrastructure improvement for the department and the town.
Desperately needed.
And not only for us, but also for the town of Hopedale, because we do have that joint dispatch agreement between both towns.
And this will also benefit the fire department as well.
And then the next article is Article 7. If you can describe what the request is for that.
Article 7 is the police department is asking for a drone. The department currently has a drone unit. We have a drone that's approximately 3 years old, and it is old by drone technology standards. It's susceptible to weather and radio interference. And the last time we used it was over the July 4th holiday for the town fireworks, when we lost communications with it and it crashed due to weather interference. That was the second time it's crashed within the year, had to be sent out and repaired both times. So we looked into options for additional repairs, and we also got a price for a new drone, which is a commercial grade drone and weatherproof, for a total of $10,953.
And for people that may not be aware of what we use the drone for, we have a lot of open space, we have a lot of state forests. Imagine there's a lot of benefits for the town to have a drone.
It's a force multiplier. We can cover incredible areas of town, as you said, the town forest, places where we can't get to on foot or by car. We can use it to cover accidents. We can use it for innumerable public safety reasons.
Okay. Great. Cool. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Article 8, request from town meeting, approval for $19,451 to do repairs to the fire department's engine 3. There are parts that are no longer available, and that we have to be a little bit more creative, find them online. And we finally basically gotten to the point where we need to do these repairs. And this is a very important truck that we still use for various firefighting services. So we're looking for town meeting's approval for funding those funds. And then the next Article 9, we have some repair work that needs to be done at the fire station. Back in 2018, town meeting had approved funds to redo the roof. We did not need all of the funds that were appropriated in 2018, and there is some money that's left. We'd like to use $26,375 to do repairing of the flooring in the first floor lobby, as well as to install UV protective film on the windows at the fire station. It's been determined that the sunlight and UV light has damaged the linoleum flooring, as well as potentially damaging the 1860 era fire truck Niagara pumper that we have on display in the lobby. So we're looking for town meeting approval to allow for those use of those funds from 2018 to do this project. Article 10 is seeking $100,000 to fund resurfacing and reconfiguration of the town parking lot. The town, a number of years ago, starting in 2018 and 2019, had undergone some engineering, and the idea is to reconfigure the parking lot to allow for 6 additional parking spaces. We will also do improvements to handicap access for some of the parking spots, and this will dovetail into some future work as part of a parklet project that was funded through an earmark that EDC, Economic Development Committee, had recently completed. We're looking at having this work done within the early part of 2025 under our existing contract with our paving contractor. Article 11 seeks $47,347 to replace the existing community board message board that's outside of Town Hall. That message board has notified members of the community for the last 25 years of events and different meetings that are going on, and we'd like to be able to replace this with a new electronic sign so that we can provide more information for the public to educate them on what's going on. The next, Article 12, we're seeking $95,000. This is going to come from wastewater retained earnings. The DEP is requiring us to prepare an updated operation and maintenance manual for our wastewater treatment plant. Separately, anyone that wants to go to the town's website, we have videos from September and October select board meetings where DPW Director Dennis Westgate talks about the need for this funding and what this work is going to achieve. So I'd encourage people to refer to those videos to learn a little bit more about this article. Article 13 seeks $62,000. We're going to take $31,000 from water retained earnings and $31,000 from wastewater retained earnings. This is to complete the engineering that's associated with the extension of water and wastewater services on Milford Street. The town had received initially $275,000 from the state through a MassWorks program to do the engineering. That was to take us to 75% design. And then we recently had also received $3.6 million for construction. This gap, which this article is then going to address, is for the remaining engineering work that was done primarily for the pump station that was approved at annual town meeting on Milford Street, and is to cover any other permitting that has come up in meetings and negotiated tasks with Mass Office of Department of Transportation. Article 14 seeks $23,000 to retain consultant and professional services for lighting, streetscaping, design, in support of the ongoing TIP project for Main Street and 140. This is a project that the state is looking at doing along 140, basically coming from Williams through West Upton, and the major item that people are aware with this project is the state is proposing a roundabout in Upton Center outside of Town Hall. What we would like to do is retain these professional services to also do some improvements to the streetscape so we can have this project fit more with the character that the town has identified for Upton Center, to create some pedestrian and additional streetscape opportunities, specifically in front of the Thompson Block, around the Common, in front of Town Hall, to make this project more in line with what the town would like to see. These images are from Middlebury, the Elm Street project, as well as this is in Lexington Center, just to give an idea about what we talk about with lighting and landscaping and streetscape. Article 15, which is requested by the Green Designation Committee, they're seeking $1,500 to start up and provide printing and mailing of a town-wide composting program. This is something that the committee had met with the Board of Health back earlier in 2024 and got their approval. Article 16 is the select board is looking at having town meeting accept a $1.5 million donation from the Harvey J. Trask Trust. The documents for the trust basically indicate that there's an initial $250,000 that can be used for general municipal purposes, and then the revenue that is from the remaining funds to be used for beautification of the town, the public spaces, streets. This is a pretty amazing donation from the Trask family, and town meeting's approval is needed before we can accept and utilize these funds. Article 17 seeks town meeting's approval to discontinue a portion of Started Street. In the graphic on the screen, there is a small, about 1,000 square feet rectangle of Stoddard Street that literally goes up to the front door of 12 Stoddard. The article basically proposes taking this rectangle and providing it and conveying it back to the owners of 12 so that there is a uniform street frontage along Stoddard Street. It's unknown where this rectangle that came into sort of almost towards the house came from, but in the town's normal maintenance of roads and drainage, the town and the DPW director do not identify any need to hold on to this. So we're looking for town meeting's approval to convey that rectangle to the owners of 12 Stoddard. For Article 18, we're looking for a general approval to allow the select board to grant and convey easements for the purpose of locating portions of utilities, including Title V compliance, subsurface septic systems, water supply, electric facilities across the public way known as Crockett Road. What ends up happening is that there are existing homes, and we've had a number of requests, some of which have gone to town meeting for approval, to allow for, say, a septic system to be installed across the street from the residence. There's a couple benefits here in that the septic system is farther away from the water body that all the residents on Crockett Road overlook, and it allows for additional addressing safety and environmental issues that are in that area. So we're looking for town meeting's approval to have more of a blanket process where the select board can grant and convey these easements. Article 19 seeks town meeting's approval to make the cemetery commissioners an appointed board. Currently they're elected. There are provisions in Mass General Law that if town meeting approves this change to appointed from elected, that this will also have to go on to the next annual town election, which that will be in May of 2025. Article 20 involves the work that had been recently completed by the Town Managers Act Review Committee. This is something that the Select Board reinvigorated this committee. They're supposed to evaluate the Town Managers Act every 5 years. So at the end of 2023 and into the beginning of 2024, This committee started looking at the Town Managers Act. They conducted surveys, they held various meetings, invited departments, invited boards to review the act to identify how it's going. And they identified a number of changes that they're seeking town meeting's approval for. This will require, if town meeting approves it, to go to the legislature, and because it does amend the general act, the special act. General court, the state legislature approval is needed for any of the changes to the Town Managers Act. Article 21, which was proposed by the Community Preservation Committee, seeks to change the membership. The total number of members, being 9, is not proposed to change, but the allocation, for example, currently there are 3 members that are appointed by the Select Board. They're looking for approval to reduce that down to 2 and have one of those members come from the Affordable Housing Trust. One of the reasons for this is to have a designated housing voice, affordable housing voice on the Community Preservation Committee. One of the reasons is that out of the buckets that are created for the CPC, affordable housing is one of those buckets, and the CPC saw the value in having a voice from the Housing Trust on that committee. Article 22 seeks approval to amend part of the general bylaw dealing with determination of vote by town meeting. So in this, on the text that you see on the screen, it's proposed to insert the following language. Town meeting shall utilize electronic tabulations and electronic devices to tabulate town meeting votes. If electronic tabulation is not available or votes by town meeting not to be used, the determination of the vote shall be as follows. And then that continues with the existing language under the current bylaw. What this means is that town meeting's approval is being sought to allow for electronic voting to be used in the future. So this is the first step. The first step is to see if town meeting will support and vote to approve this change. And then Article 23 would implement that by funding the acquisition of handheld electronic voting equipment and software and related expenses. The town has a quote of under $21,000 for purchasing this equipment and software, and seeks town meeting's approval for that. Articles 24, 25, 26, and 27 are all zoning articles. I sat down with Mike Antonellis, the Director of Land Use and Special Services, to create a separate zoning video for all of you to watch. And in that video we get into more in depth into those articles, and specifically MBTA communities, which is Article 25, to talk about that and provide a little bit more information. So I'd encourage everyone to look at that video as well. So in closing, hope to see everyone at the November 12th special town meeting. It's going to be held at Nipmuc High School in the auditorium starting at 7 o'clock. Should you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or any of my department heads, or visit the website for more information. We have a lot of this information up on the website, so you can see all the documents, the supportive documentation, as well as various videos from various planning board meetings, select board meetings, and these meetings that we create so that you can learn more about what's going to be on the warrant. Thank you very much.